Well, hello everybody. Welcome. I am Teresa with Keep in Touch Crafts, and I am coming to you with a live paper crafting class, and we're going to do some techniques tonight with using a Stamparatus or a stamping tool that we have available. It really makes some techniques really easy to do. It is really handy to have this tool in your arsenal of craft goodies. So if you have one, grab it. You may want to play with me as we do this. Take notes. You can try it later as well, of course. So hello everybody, and welcome if you're catching this on YouTube or Facebook Live, or later on the replay. I'd love to hear where you're from. Give me a thumbs up, a share, whatever you're able to do. I'd greatly appreciate it, as I'm trying to get the word out here and trying to broaden the number of people that we can get together and craft with and find our tribe, as it were, right? So welcome. It is the 8th of September in 2022 right now. And today we just recently found out that Queen Elizabeth passed away today. So that, of course, was a sad thing to hear. So we'll remember this day for a long time, I'm sure. A lot more to come in the future as well, as we hear more about all of that and the transitions and everything going on. Hope you are doing well. It's the end of summer here. School's going again, and fall is kind of giving us a little bit of a hello with some changing tree leaves a little bit. It's just starting to turn, but it's just been beautiful. Hope you are enjoying lovely weather as well. Today we are going to be going over, like I said, a technique, and we're going to be using a suite of products that I have just been having to hold back on using. Probably one of my most favorite, well, for sure in our catalog that's out now. I have it here. This one, all right. It's our, I'll show you better in a second, but that's the one. That's the one that's current right now. We have an annual catalog that is a big, thick one. And this is our mini one that goes from July to December of 2022. It does tend to have some more fall-themed holidays, winter, Christmas, that kind of thing. So we're kind of looking ahead a little bit to those things. So this suite of products that we're going to be using is in this catalog, and I am going to put the camera down here so you can see what we're talking about. And we're going to work on that technique for our card. So one moment here. I'm going to get this switched over, and hopefully you can see this okay, and it's not too dark, and it's a little bit of a shade here for my water bottle, I bet. So, okay guys, this is the Lights Aglow suite that came with got a little sticker on there. It's not going to come off. Lights Aglow. So of course, you know, I'm Teresa Glow, so I had to really hone in on this one. Thankfully, I absolutely love it. So it's a beautiful suite with it's kind of a double suite in my opinion, because you get a lot in this suite. It's not a cheap one, but boy, if you like the product, it's a great easy way to just put in one number and you have everything you need. As far as like paper, I'll show you here actually. So Lights Aglow suite, it's on page 30 of that catalog, and this is what's in that suite. You can get part of it if you want, you can get the whole thing, whatever you prefer, but it does come with 2 stamp sets, 2 die sets. It comes with a pack of 6x6 gorgeous foiled paper, and it comes with some, this one is called Festive Foils 12x12 paper, and then it also has the, this is 5, the Glimmer 12x12. I think I showed you some of this glimmer when we did our watercoloring class a few weeks back. We had watercolored on the lighter color of this glimmer paper. Excuse me. Water break. And it comes with some beautiful festive pearls that come in different colors here. There's a gorgeous ribbon that is gold, has some gold accents, kind of that vanilla tone to it. The colors in this suite are Cherry Cobbler, Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, Very Vanilla, Basic Black, and Gold. And the next 2 pages just show you a little bit clearer what is in each stamp set and die set. And so there's a lot of detail here. It's very unique. There's a beautiful large snowflake on this one here. There's so much to this. You'll be seeing a lot more of it because it's one of my favorites, like I said, so I'll be making a lot of projects with this. Hopefully you like it as well. This one is really fun because the dies just kind of make holes like I'll show you because we'll be using it. So anyways, you'll see it's gorgeous. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you some of the samples that I have of the paper and stuff. So this is our Lights Aglow, the suite of the 6x6 Lights Aglow paper. And so I have, there's 2 sides of everything, of course. Here are our colors that go in this suite of products. And one side of the paper looks like, I have this one kind of covered up. It's kind of a black, dark color bokeh print to it. And then we have some kind of vanilla with different colors in kind of those draping swags of stars and lights, kind of. Here's that bokeh, and that is in the greenish color. And this is the more plain side, I guess you'd say. And it has just kind of a muted tone to it all. And then we have this little printed piece, and there's some of the black. And here's a darker of those prints from before. You can see there's just a lot of different designs in here. That is there's so many, and it's just gorgeous. And this is the plain side because this is the gorgeous side that has the gold foil accents on it. Hoping you can see that okay. And here are the different patterns that it comes in it. Okay. Even this has some of the gold foil. I don't know if it's catching it in the light. It's really pretty paper. I love that one with the swag detail on it. And the red and the gold. Cherry Cobbler red, I guess it is. And then here it looks like a tree. So it's that dark green, Evening Evergreen, and the trees are the gold foil here. It's kind of that tree shape to it. It's not showing the best, is it? Oh, there you go. That's a little better. So pretty in person. And then this is kind of that like a black and gold. So that I'm thinking that would be really nice for maybe New Year's even. Here's the darker, and it's got kind of a tree look to it, like tree limbs. And then you get sheets that have 4 shapes on them, 2 circles and 2 squares. So these themselves would make beautiful tags, card fronts, just so much you can do with the shaped parts of it, the shaped pieces. And here's a lighter version of the shapes as well. I think it's Soft Succulent, yeah. Trying to get a good view for you. And then we have the vanilla with gold, and it's kind of those snowflakes pattern, and the black. All right, so that is 1 pack of paper that comes in it. And then that glimmer specialty paper and the foil. So it comes with festive foils. Now the festive foils are only one-sided, and they're just kind of muted. They're tone on tone, but there is a shiny kind of a foil look to them. See if the light kind of catches on there. Very subtle, but very pretty. It's a really elegant, in my opinion, an elegant suite. So if that's your jam, that's the kind of style you like for your Christmas cards or whatever cards you want to be making with these, you might just love this. And here, of course, is that glimmer paper that we saw a couple weeks ago for watercolor. So it has gold, very vanilla, and then the Evening Evergreen. So pretty. I think we're going to use We can use, actually I think I might use the vanilla again, but you could use the gold. I have a gold sample of what we're making as well. And you'll see, I don't want to give it all away yet, but that is a majority of what we're using. So what we're going to do is pull in our supplies. And, oh, we also have, oh, here, this is a little bit better way to show you. So this is the dies that come with one of them. The, which one is this? Do I have it marked yet? Not yet. I had showed you these in the catalog. This is the one die set that I was saying kind of pokes these holes in it kind of, so it looks kind of snowy, or just kind of shows whatever you want to show through these dots. They'll kind of come through. And so this tag doesn't have those snowflakes on it, but those snowflakes are included, and all they do is just punch those holes into your paper. They don't cut out anything. They just punch or put those holes in there like that. If you can see that, this does cut out a circle. Here's a nice sentiment banner. This could be used for sentiments as well. And then these are just kind of that snowy look to it. And the other die set that comes with it, that's the larger snowflake I was telling you about. And you can see it has a lot of detail to that. Really pretty die. It just cuts it out to look exactly like that. There's this pretty tree as well. And then some more dies that just kind of cut out that kind of peekaboo so that you can see what's behind it, including this kind of a longer swag one. And then these little dies are in there as well. So you can imagine all the fun things you can do with that, right? One of the stamp sets is here, and I also stamped, this stamp set is called Brightest Glow, and that is all the sentiments that come here with it. And so it's Brightest Glow, Christmas Lights. Those are two of the sets that are in there. So you can see this one has that die that cuts it out, which was this one right here. You can either use it alone or with or together. Same with this one. You can see that you can stamp it and you can die cut that out, and they can stand alone too. You don't have to have them both, but you could have one or the other. You could just get the dies if you'd rather even. Not that you'd want to do that, but you know, if you're having to, that's some suggestions that you might appreciate. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in our supplies. We're gonna need our trimmer, of course. And I am gonna start off with our card base. So we're gonna use a card base, Night of Navy. And it's just gonna be our standard fold card that is 5.5 by 8.5. It's actually 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 once it's folded. So take your 8.5 by 11 sheet of Night of Navy cardstock, and first thing we're going to do is just score a line. So I'm putting this edge right on the 4 1/4 mark, and that's going to score a line right down the center. And the scoring blade on our trimmer is this lighter colored one, giving that a nice press, and that's just scoring the center. And this is a way to get 2 card bases out of your actual card stock. So then we're going to cut it in half, which is at 5.5 inches in width, and we'll use that other blade then, that darker one that cuts. So then we have our card base like so. We also are going to cut out a nice square of 4 by 4. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to actually even have it just a hair under 4 by 4. So 4 by 4, and we are going to stamp on this piece. You can even use this, excuse me, we'll keep this piece because we're going to stamp on that as well. So this is kind of a scrap piece that we'll be stamping on. This is the Technique card right here, or piece, the 4 by 4 square. And then we have our card base. I am also going to bring in that Very Vanilla Glimmer paper. And this one we are going to cut a piece that is, oops, kind of have it beat up a little bit here, don't I? We're going to cut it to just a hair over 4 by 4. So I am going to go like 4 1/8. And it might help, actually, I would suggest to save your blade, your trimmer blade, and go ahead and flip it over. I want to get a better corner up here. So we're going to go approximately 4 1/8. And I'm just going to cut off what I need. Actually, I think I might need, I'm going to cut the whole thing at 4 1/8. And we'll set aside what we don't need. So let's go ahead and cut this to about 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. It's going to be a layer behind our, whoops, I didn't save the blade that time. It is going to go behind the stamped layer that we have here. Okay, and then we're going to do some goodies to this. Then we are going to cut a strip for the inside. It's just kind of a decorative piece. We're going to use the rest of, not all of it, just another little bit from this 4 1/8 wide glimmer paper again. And we're going to go, let's go about 1 inch. I'm going to go 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/4 inch of that paper. Set this aside. And then what we're going to do is decide, do we want to use this actually as the whole interior part? Probably not. So what we're going to want to do is get a piece of our Very Vanilla cardstock. Oops. One that I forgot to grab. All right, Very Vanilla. It really matches this glimmer paper well, more so than a white would. So our inside piece is going to be right around that 4 by 4 again. So I'm going to go a little under 4. So we got to cut at a little under 4 for that, and then a little under 4 again for this piece. All right. So that is, I believe, all we need for this to start with. Oh, sneeze. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Goodness. All right, so a recap. A little under 4 by 4, Very Vanilla. A little over 4 by 4, 4 1/8 by 4 1/8 of this Very Vanilla glimmer paper. A hair under or right around 4 by 4 Night of Navy, and another strip 1 1/4 by that 4 1/8. Okay. Then we have our card base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored in the center here at 4 1/4. And we have just another strip that we're going to stamp on. Okay. All right, let's get to work. The first thing I want to do is show you the technique that we're going to be using on our card. And this is our Stamparatus, and this is a tool that helps with stamping. It helps with batch stamping, so if you want to do a bunch of things, it keeps everything set up, and then you can stamp your project back and forth and stamp quicker and with more precision. Another advantage of it is you can stamp more than once. Let's say you stamp something and it doesn't have the image as good of an inked image as you'd like. You can ink it up and stamp it more, you know, time after time if you want. So that is another use. But what I'm going to show you is how to make your own kind of a circle or wreath look using a smaller stamp. So I have grid paper here, and what I did was I will show you because I want to make it more clear so you can see it easier. I'm going to grab my ruler, and then I'm going to grab so that you can see it better. I'm just going to grab kind of a brighter colored marker, that kind of thing. And let's see where I put them. All right, so I'll just use kind of a color. I don't know if it'll show that well, but regardless, what we're going to do is we're going to think of 2 squares that are 4 by 4. So what I did was I took that 4 by 4 layer that we're putting on the that we're going to be stamping onto. Remember, it's just a little bit less, but this is that 4 by 4. I put it on the grid paper and I drew a 4-inch square around it this way. Then I rotated it and I did the 4 by 4 this way. And this is just going to make kind of a guide for you when you're stamping, and we're going to be able to do some fun things with that. Okay, so I just want you to be able to see this. Here's the first one, and you can just do this on copy paper or whatever. If you just have regular grid paper, that would work as well. Just draw all the way around onto that paper. All 4, those 2 overlapping squares. And if you would want to, you could just have this one go to the outside. Here, I'll show you, of this square, and then jump over and do it over here. But if you do that, that would be what you would need to do if you wanted to make kind of more of a permanent guide. And then what you would do is cut it actually out of cardboard or a thicker thing, and then all you'd have to do is set your actual cardstock down onto that jig. But I know that's probably not making a lot of sense, so I apologize if it's confusing. We'll keep it simple by just going ahead and doing those 2 4-inch squares onto our grid paper. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody will see it. It's just a guide. Okay, there we are. I don't know if you can see. Yep, that shows up pretty well, I think. All right, next we're going to bring in our Stamparatus. And then this goes, we're going to open it up. This is just going to sit, oops, I'm going to turn it more towards me. This goes right in there. You can tape it down, you can put magnets on there, but as long as you have it nicely up into this corner here, then it's going to be placed in the right way. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab a stamp out of this set. I want to grab this smaller snowflake. And you can actually make kind of a wreath using a small image like that. And this is going to guide you on how to do that. So what we want to do is have our image go right up into that corner of our paper, but we don't want it to go off of it, because it would stamp off. I want it to go right up in the corner, and the guide here shows you exactly how to do that. So now I have to make sure my paper's in place, and I'm just going to close the door on this, and that picked up our stamp. Then what I usually do is take my stamp case and kind of just set it down under here, and that provides a little bit of a platform for inking. What I'm going to use today is the Whisper White stamp pad, and this is kind of a different ink. It's not our typical ink. It is, let's see if it says, it's a pigment ink, not a dye ink. So you really want to make sure this is inked up. This is just the re-inker that comes with it, and you just want a nice amount of this gloppy white ink in there. So you want to have a nice bright image. And before I actually use that, I am going to kind of spread it around a little bit. You can use an old, like an old credit card or a spoon I've seen people use, and that's what I usually have. I just want to find where I put it. I bet I reorganized and now I can't find anything. I hate that. I'll wash this off later. I wouldn't normally use this for it, but you just kind of want to spread that around lightly so that it's not stripy or uneven. That should be okay. And you can always test it and see how it works. But I'll clean that up later. All right, let's go ahead and put our 4-inch piece of paper in place. All right, and like so, and we're going to be moving this. So I'm going to go ahead now and use our pad and just kind of dab, dab, dab around on that snowflake there. And then we're going to close the door, stamp that image right there. Just a gentle press. I don't want to like smash it down too much. And you can take a look and see how it looks. And I don't know if you can tell, it looks a little lighter around this edge. I'm just going to add a little bit more. And if you're careful, it doesn't move and you'll be able to stamp again. Now this ink will lighten as it dries, and that's okay. So now what we're going to do is put all 4 corners up in there and stamp the image. Okay. Gosh, I wonder if I gotta look at something here, guys. I think I messed it up. Don't do that. It would work. It works to do that, but that's not what I meant to do, you guys. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to put it there. I'm going to wipe that off. We're going to try again. I actually wanted it closer to the center so we can make a circle. I'll get there. All right. Let's try that again and kind of look where we're going to want this. We know the center point is here, and we want our circle to kind of go around in this area. So to do that, we kind of place it about, we want to leave a center kind of out towards this edge. You see that edge here. And then we'll be able to stamp it more in a circle. Goodness. I think we want it about there. Yeah, that should work. Oh, sorry. Let's try it again, guys. That's why we have 2 sides to our paper, right? Okay, so we can go ahead, try again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Okay, I'm gonna ink it up a little more just because I want it pretty vivid. You know, the more you could do it, the brighter it is. Now we're gonna turn it to the next so that the point is up. We're just gonna go in one direction and rotate. Rotate, stamp, rotate, stamp. All right, so let's do this one. Ooh, there, that was a nice bright one. Now you can see that the first one we did is starting to lighten because it's drying. This ink is not the same as the other ink we've used, so you can smear it. You may be able to even emboss on it if you want to do that. So this was the last one we did. Now we rotate it again. I just always rotate the same direction counterclockwise, but you can do it, of course, whatever way you want. Now you can do this same technique with flowers, with oh gosh, any smaller images, leaves for like a wreath. You could do berries, you could do whatever stamp that you have that is small enough or the right size to kind of work it out. You can do all different types of shapes. This is just kind of a simple starter to get you started, but you can do you can make it so that you turn it a little bit different angles. You could put an angle here and here, you know what I mean? Like, so that you can, we're just doing this vertical and horizontal. You can do more than that if you want to kind of play around with it and make some other patterns and that kind of thing. But we're going to just start with this, making sure our paper is, the grid paper, still up in the corner. Ink it up, stamp it, and turn it again, and ink it up. You can even, if you want to do this without a Stamparatus, I've heard that you can do that and just eyeball it. Not very easy to do, I wouldn't think, but I have heard of people doing that without the Stamparatus too. Just kind of make a template so you know where you want your image to go. One more. And we'll have a snowflake wreath. It's very subtle. You could do this in metallics and heat emboss too. So I'll show you kind of how that turned out. Can you see this okay? Here is like a wreath made out of our snowflakes. Now you could do another layer and put something in between. You can add on and do different images, but I'm just going to do this to start with for today, and I'm going to put this messy thing over there. All right. All right, next thing we're going to do then is close up the ink. Well, actually, I maybe better do the rest of my inking. What I'm going to do next is pull in our paper that we're going to do some sentiments on and our inside. And I'm not actually going to use this ink for that. I'm going to heat emboss with white embossing powder. And I know that this is very vanilla, and you're thinking, well, white doesn't match. It actually tends to kind of come together okay. And I don't know, it works, I feel. So you can kind of be the judge of that as well. See what you like. I have another sample of a different way to do it, if like different colors, that kind of thing. If you would want to do that, you could try it. All right, what I'm going to do now is we're going to heat emboss and stamp. I'm using Peace and Joy from, was it this one? No, it was a different set. I think I put it back here. This is from a set in our catalog that is called Surprise is what it's called. Let's see what sentiment I got this from. It was one of the other Christmas ones, and it is from I got it. I should have had it marked here. So, I just had to close up my icky stamp pad there. One of the other Christmas ones is I think it's the Boughs. Oh, goodness. Teresa, I gotta be better organized. Giving you little peeks of our catalog. And I should know it better by now and be able to turn right to it. Okay, so the stamps that are the leaves of holly are on 25. Here, I turn right to it, right? So you can see here the sentiments, joy and peace. They're 3 different pieces. I'm using that. And then on the outside, and then on the inside, I'm going to use From Our Home to Yours. Okay, so that came from Boughs of Holly. You use whatever sentiments you prefer. That other one that comes, the Brightest Glow, is gorgeous as well. Well, we are going to use white embossing powder. All right, and it's a heat technique that we're going to do with this. I am going to stamp these on here, and what I'm mainly just going to be doing is cutting them out, so it doesn't matter if they're straight or whatever. But I'm getting some Versamark, which is just this is what the cover looks like. It's Versamark ink, and it is just kind of a clear sticky ink, and it makes It makes the powder stick to it, and then you heat it to melt it. This is this little embossing buddy, I think is what it used to be called, where gets the static off of your paper so that you don't have as many flyaway pieces that kind of splatter around from your embossing. Now you can't really see that very well, but you can once you kind of dip this in. You can see it kind of come out a little bit. And then we are going to heat that. I know we have this cool new heat embossing kit in our new catalog here, and it is on page 49. I don't have it yet. I want to get it. It comes with that embossing buddy, and it comes with a couple of brushes that can kind of keep your work. You can brush, or actually one brush. It brushes away your excess powder on little parts you don't want it on. And it comes with a really cool ceramic offset, what are they called? Tweezers that are heat resistant. You don't have to worry about like burning your fingers. It'll clamp right on, and then you can heat emboss with that. And then this tray allows you to dump your powder onto it, and then there's a little hole here with a cap, and you take that off and pour it right back into your container. So it is so cool. So that's one thing we're going to heat emboss. Then on the inside we're using that very vanilla layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp on this inside layer, but I know you're thinking, well, it's not going to show because you won't be able to see it because it's going to be white. Well, we're going to do a technique, emboss resist. So what I did here, our inside sentiment that I was telling you about, I put it on the back side of my block. Should have had a separate one, but this works because I'm not overly, you can see right through and you can tell right where you're going to go if you stand up, right? So I have to do it this way. And this is the From Our House to Yours. I don't know if you can see it, but you'll be able to see it better later after we do this technique on there. Okay, so let's get that. Some powder, and then you do want to look around and, oh, that's not straight. I cannot do that. That's not good. Okay, do it the right way. Take the extra stamps off so I can see better, and I need to stamp it straight. Try it again. See, I'm like too impatient, and I hurry too much sometimes, and then I'm not careful. And then you got to go back and redo it, so it didn't really help, right? It didn't help things go any faster. Embossing buddy. Oh, yeah. Okay, try this again. I'm going to have my grid paper nice and straight, and maybe that'll help me get it straighter. And I wanted to get my head right in the way. Okay, I think that's better this time. Of course, I have embossing powder all over now. I need that new set. I think that would really help. Okay, now we'll be able to heat emboss both of these at the same time. And so it's going to get noisy. You need a heat tool to heat this with. But don't mind the noise, but it's fun to kind of watch it turn and get really, melted and get shiny. So right now, the image on here is kind of dull. And as it turns and melts, it'll get shiny. See that turning? I've always loved heat embossing. It's just so cool. Nice and shiny and melted and tough, you know, and nothing's gonna rub it away or anything. And so there, now this, obviously it's not showing, right? You're thinking, well, nobody can even read it because it's too light. Well, I am going to do a little bit of emboss resist. So I'm going to get my blending tool, and I am going to get, actually I'm going to get balmy blue, and that is, it's a light blue. I just barely want that blue to come through. I'm not wanting it to be dark navy, like Night of Navy. So I am just wanting it to barely even put a little color on there. Just want to make those words pop out. Like that, just about like that. And then what you can do is try to get it a little smoother. You could layer it and get it darker if you would want to, but I just, like I said, I wanted it to be subtle. And then I'm gonna take a paper towel or something like that, and then make sure it's not too wet, but you can just kind of do a little swipe on it. And that kind of swipes the ink a little bit too, but it cleans off the top of that embossed image and makes it pop and a little bit more bright. But you can see, at least I think that it works with the vanilla, and because it doesn't look white, it looks vanilla on here. And then this is pretty white, and if you would want to, you could kind of ink that a little bit to make it look more vanilla. And what you would do is you could grab like a kind of a golder color or yellow if you want to tone down the whiteness in this. So let's bring in, I don't think it would really matter, whatever yellow you happen to have. This is our saffron, but I'm just going to go light on here. And what I'm trying to do is just tone down that white a little bit. And I don't even want you to be able to tell that we did this. And I'm not going to wipe it off. I'm just going to kind of ink on there and let it be. And that sort of makes it look more vanilla. Okay. All right. Next, what do we got to do now? Let's get some layering done, some gluing, and let's kind of see if this is coming along. And I just smeared a little bit there. That's okay. And get some of these tools out of the way. All right. So what we're doing next is assemble. All right, assemble and glue. And I have like embossing powder everywhere, so I'm trying to get neater about it. Of course, I have my lovely little mess right there. Let's go ahead and crease with our bone folder here. Give that a nice crease. It's going to be, the fold is going to go on the left, okay? Then let's go ahead and put our 2 layers that are going to go on the inside. So we need our strip of our Very Vanilla Glimmer paper. And we need our adhesive. Now for adhesive on this project, you probably would want seal or tear and tape. Also dimensionals we'll be using, and we will also use maybe some liquid glue as well. So this is going to just go along the bottom in here, and you'll see why. Actually, before we do this, guys, I forgot, we need to do our die cutting first. So let's die cut, like one of the most important parts. Okay, so this version there, or that layer, I should say, is going to need some dies on it. From this die set here, and this die set again was Labels Aglow dies. One thing we're going to do is put a little image on the inside of our circle. Let's see which pieces we want to use here. There's a lot of them that you could use, but I am just going to pull in a few different choices here. It has a lot of choices, but on this piece I'm going to start with putting, this is going to go in the center, and I need my little brush thing to get my so we have our, sorry for my arm, take your pick tool that has other ends on it. I always use these two ends, they're interchangeable. So I have, there's this end you can have for it, and then this is kind of an end that is multi-purpose. You can use it as a stylus for scoring. There's a large ball on it and a small ball, which is super handy to have scoring tools like that. This end is for our dies. You just rub it over your dies and it gets those little teeny pieces out. You can see some little ones I used before, can kind of see it. If you have a little, the foam pad that comes with it is helpful also. Okay. So we have our center there. Then I'm also going to want to put some little snowflake looking shapes, just kind of here and there on there. Gosh, sorry. Water again. So I'm doing two opposite that are the larger one and the smaller ones in this other corner here. Now to hold that into place while we die cut, I'm just going to use some post-it notes, or you can use your magnets, or I actually have the magnetic platform that we used to have, so if you have one of those you can use it. Whatever works best for you. Let's get our embossing big shot, no, Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. It's a mouthful. I'm going to bring that in, guys. And cover up this, huh? Okay, here's this big guy. Kind of give you the idea of what's going on here. So you just use whatever sandwich you prefer that works with your machine. I know you can't really see this. Maybe I'll get it over here. That looks better. This one happens to be magnetic, but if you don't have a magnetic one, you can easily use just the regular sandwich that comes with your machine, and you can use magnets. You can use post-it notes like I was saying. So if you didn't have this, I'll show you what you would do. And I have one more die there. I don't really want it to cut the snowflake, and you could just take your post-its, and depending on what size you have or what kind you have, you can just tear them off, and you just kind of do this and it keeps them into place. So you'd be able to do that with all of them. I don't really need to do that because I have the old magnetic plate. We don't have that anymore, you guys, so just use the post-it notes if you don't have that. So that was one thing we were going to die cut. And the big reveal. Ooh, it's so cool. All it does is poke holes in it. See how the back looks? You can kind of see. There's our goof up from earlier. Cool. That is so pretty. Then what we can do is clean this off, and we are going to do another die cut, and this is going to be for our card front. And I want to kind of get all of these little things off so they don't make any impressions in our other die cutting section here that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to just clean this off. Whoops. Oh, I hit something. All right. Where's my garbage? Okay, so I'm just kind of rubbing that off. And it didn't all come off the best, so I'll just kind of brush it off here. It's practically embedded. Oh, this is a beat up little old thing, isn't it? Ugh. But it does the job. Okay, we're going to do another one now. Let's get our card front, which is this one. And what we're going to do is find a different die here, kind of that long bar shaped one. And I had it set up right for us to use, and I'm sure I buried it by now. There it is. Okay, so I want this on the bottom of the card front. Actually, it's not the bottom, is it? This is the bottom. So I'm going to turn it, and it's longer than it needs to be for this horizontal. So this is the left side, top, bottom, and I want the most dots to go up a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of have this going off of the edge here, and then it'll go all the way along the bottom, and it goes right up to that fold. And we will run this through then. And you'll be amazed at the beauteousness. Is that a word? I bet beauteousness is not a word. Okay. Ooh, look at that, would ya? Looks like a mess, but it's not. And if you have the foam piece, I'll see if mine's accessible. I should have had that out. Okay, I got it here, guys. So you can just kind of use whatever foam that you have. Just give that or that came with your brush or whatever you happen to have. You don't have to do this, but it's really handy and quick. And there we go. Can you see that? It'll show better once we get our card put together. And let's work on that. So now I have a big mess all over the place with these little dot things everywhere. Hang on, I'm going to brush this stuff into the garbage. You don't want to look at that, right? Still have my beautiful ink blending up there. And we have our card front. Now, before I get our layers put on here, one thing I had done before was put some ribbon on here before we put a layer on top of that. With this one, I think we can use, I don't know if I want to use the white. Maybe the gold would look good. I know. I don't know if I want to use that. What I'm going to do is pull in, this would work. I'm trying to match with the Very Vanilla. So I think, I don't know what I want to do yet for that. Before we do that, while I'm pondering, this is part of the creative process, is pondering, right? We gotta pull in the rest of our pieces and we will get to some assembling. And we are going to put this onto here, and that's going to show right through, and you can see the glimmer and the shimmer and on the outside as well. So for that, kind of use whatever adhesive you want. It's I have Seal Plus handy, so that's what I'm using. But there are lots of choices. I just want to make sure it kind of adheres well on these corners. I don't really want it to poke through the holes though too much here. I'm kind of being careful about that. And then let's put this on this shimmer paper here. And we want a nice even border all the way around. And so you just got to take your time and kind of, once you stick it down with this Seal Plus, it is down. It's not going to move. All right, there's a pretty layer. And you can see kind of that shimmer shows through. Very subtle wreath that we made. I'm calling it a wreath, I don't know, circle. This is going to go on the front of this, like that. Pretty, pretty. And we could put, you know, I'm not even going to use ribbon, I don't think. What we're going to do next is put our inside together. And this is going to go up on this top portion here. And then that other strip that we cut out is going to go down here, and that's going to show through to the front. Okay, there is going to be a little bit of a little gap there, but that is, I don't mind the width difference. I had considered, well, do I want to make my inside the very vanilla? Could be the same width as this if you'd rather, or we could cut it down. Maybe I should do that. What do you think? To make this inside. This was the little bit less than 4 by 4. And I could actually get it to be the same width if I want, but then on the it might not show completely through all the way. That's why I had decided that. So let's get that put on. Putting this along the bottom. Just a small border all the way around, very small on this portion. Giving that a nice press. And our From Our Home to Yours is going to go on the kind of more of the top section here. You could stamp an image in here too. You could have die cut another little snowflake out of there. We could stamp the snowflake here in, we could even do it in the Night of Navy. But I'm going to just leave that like so. And then on the top and here, we're going to add that onto the front. Now I think what I'm going to do is I want to use dimensionals. So you have a couple of choices depending on what you're using this for. If this is something you're going to send in the mail, I would just use our regular dimensionals because it has a little bit of a lower profile. You could even choose to not put the dimensionals on and it still, I think, would look very pretty. But I think what I'm going to do is use the Cheater Quick Way, and we have these foam adhesive strips. Now they are higher, I think, you know, like a higher foam piece than our dimensionals. So you want to keep that in mind. You don't want to probably mail this thick of a layer. I mean, you could, but it might make it a little bit thick so that you'd have to add more postage. So go ahead and just use whatever you prefer. You could, like I said, you could just use regular dimensionals, and that would work as well. So I am going to cut down some strips here and adhere that to the back. Yeah, that's right. Sticky side down. Turn this little one off. We don't want a saggy middle. Just using a few scraps there as well. And we need one more strip for this other edge. Like so. And then I think I'm going to, put a few more little pieces here and there just to make sure it's nice and stable. Like so. And we'll take those liners off, and then we're going to adhere this to the card front. Oh goodness. Take your pick tool, I need you. And that's usually a quicker way to do this. Well, I hope you guys are having a great week, and having a little craft time is kind of a nice way to unwind a little bit. And thinking ahead, I don't know how many of you are thinking about Christmas at all. You'll have to let me know if you're ready to start crafting for Christmas, or if you're still thinking, and other holidays of course as well, or if you're thinking, no, I'm not ready for that yet. I know, I like to enjoy what's going on in the here and now, which is kind of more of that fall stuff. But I did make some projects earlier in the end of summer, I suppose, in the last month or so, that had those fall themes, which I absolutely love. So you can always go back and hunt for those and make some fall projects if you're not ready for other seasons yet. So let's go ahead and get our sentiment strip here. And what I opted to do with this one is, I've seen a lot of cards that have these just little strips, little word strips kind of. And so that's what I chose to do, just to kind of try to make it simple. And because it's just a real popular, easy way to make your sentiment kind of pop out and not have to have any special, tools or anything. You can always just use your snips and snip down those words like so. And I'm going to give about that much room on this side. And what I've been doing is cutting an angle on this side. You just kind of want to do them the same, so I kind of do them at the same time. So I want that angle on this side. You see where we're going with that? And this side. Just kind of eyeball it. And then, but I want the right side of the word or the sentiment to be straight, and we're going to put it flush on the right of our card, like that, card front. All right, so let's see if we need any more trimming done. I think that one's okay. And joy, peace and joy is what it's going to say on the front. And I'm going to use, I was going to use dimensionals, but maybe I won't, since we already have dimensionals, such a thick layer here. I'm just going to glue this right on there then. Which glue do we want to use? We could use, if I haven't used it all up, this is our multi-purpose liquid glue. It's probably about done for. You can do it. Come on, glue. There we go. Oh, wow. And then it decided, oh, there it comes. That's going to be way too gooey and messy. So I'm going to kind of let that one dry a little bit first. So let's try our middle and symbol here. Wow, it's like exploding on me. That's weird. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use this one instead. I have this one with a really fine point on it, and that works usually pretty well. See, you can just have a little teeny bit and it doesn't make such a mess. I should have done that before. I'm just putting that flush edge right up against the edge of the layer that's there, and I'm going to go peace and joy. So I'm going to go ahead and do the joy next, just a little bit, and we'll try to keep the distance the same from this one to the peace one. That's going to be a big mess. I feel like wiping some of that off. I haven't had it do that before, kind of explode on me here. There we go. Then it won't gush out. Is that a word, gush? Gush. Pretty. Peace and joy. Oh, I'm not going to sing. What am I doing? So this is just a real popular way that I've been noticing on store-bought cards as well, where they just had the words kind of separated and little strips for that. Now I want to bling it up a little bit here on the front. There's quite a few choices what you could use to go along with this. Let's pull in, I know pearls would be nice. Where is the one I was wondering how this would look, and now I'm thinking no, I don't want it. I was considering using these. No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to pull in, I think pearls would look nice. And we do have these festive pearls, and it is part of the Lights Aglow suite of products here. These are the colors. And I think what I might do is use this lighter blue one. It may not exactly be what we need. I think it might be part of, like maybe it's the, what is that? The soft succulent color. But I'm going to go ahead and get my blue blend marker. Or I should say Night of Navy. Okay, where are you? And we want it to be more of that Night of Navy color. So I'm going to use the brush end of my beautiful blend here and just kind of color to make it look more of that blue. And I am going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to use at least 5. Yeah, I'll do 5. An odd number, and take your pick tool is going to help me out here big time. Now I normally use that putty end, but I'm afraid it'll smear the color because I don't know if I've let it dry enough yet. Put that one down, and I'm putting them in the center of these main cut out snowflakes. Okay, like so. You could put a bow or ribbon down here. That could be really pretty. But this is what that finished card can look like. I hope you can see it okay. Peace and joy, and then from our home to yours. Very subtle. You can see it better in person than you can on the camera. I think I would maybe want to stamp and decorate a little bit more with the same pattern. I think would be a good one that I still have in the Stamparatus. It's dirty. I would stamp it probably in the blue. And that might add a little bit to it as well. You could make a little bow and put that there. Let's see what that looks like. Or you could do a knot. If you'd rather not have to do a bow, you could try a knot. This is the natural 1/2-inch woven ribbon from the same catalog, but it's the Boughs of Holly suite that has this one in it. And it's a little bit wider. It's pretty wide, but it is more of that vanilla type of color. It makes a pretty big bow. That's the one thing I'm kind of thinking, oh, it might be a little bit too big. let's just take a look. Got a little bit of a weird thing going on in this loop. Kind of got to fuss with that. There we go. Pull it out a little bit and play and readjust and getting it all how we want it. What do you think? Oh gosh, I kind of like that. It's kind of makes it sweet, doesn't it? It could even be here or here. We could do this kind of a thing. But I am going to use it, you guys, I think. I don't know. I wish I could talk to you and say, hey, what would you do? But maybe you can make your project and show me what you came up with, right? I'm going to do that with it. Yay. I think that's cute. Let's go ahead and get some glue dots so that we can get this adhered on really well. I'm going to press this onto our glue dot and put that right in the center, right under here. I might trim that tails just a little bit. I really like how that goes along with it. But I'm going to trim these tails a little bit. If I go kind of straight across like this, that'll be kind of the right angle. Easier said than done. When you're on camera, it's harder. Oh boy, I'm cutting it way too high. Oh, that was not good. Okay. Good thing I made it long. Then I can trim it down and keep going until there's hardly anything left. Oh, goodness. It is not cooperating. And maybe what I'll do is, I know this ribbon is really good about fraying, and so we can just kind of fray this edge a little bit and make it look frayed and artsy. How's that? Trim it just a little. I'm gonna leave it kind of frayed like that. Okay. Oh, cool. What do you think? Hope you can see it okay on the camera there. Peace and joy from our home to yours. Yay. I'll show you another version I made. I made a gold version. Honestly, I think I like it better. But here's my gold version. And what I did differently was I used the brushed metallic gold layers. And instead of ribbon, I used our gold festive thread stuff that we have. We have that in our catalog as well. And I just wrapped it around and then secured it underneath here and then kind of spread it out a little bit. Then I used the gold, what are these called? Pearls, festive pearls. I used the gold ones and I added a couple more. I heat embossed in the color in the gold powder as well there. And on the inside, from our home to yours. Oh, one thing I didn't do on this one here tonight, but I just inked a little bit of Versamark around the edge of the inside panel. I thought this balmy blue color is kind of what this white stamped image looks like once it's dried. It's kind of that lighter bluish almost looking, which is why I chose that for the inside. And then just another strip of that brushed gold. And so here is our project for today. I hope you like it. And let me know what you think. And if you make it, I'd love to see it. Do you want to kind of, I don't know if I could zoom in. I do want to show you a couple things going on right now. We have, here, if I can find it for you. Boop-a-doo. Oh, did it unhook? Okay, well, I guess we won't see it. I had my computer hooked up and now it's not. I think my computer went to sleep and then it didn't keep it. So we're gonna let it be. But what I wanted to talk to you about was I wanted to let you know that we are done with celebration. So now we are focusing more on some other specials going on. If you're interested in doing getting some good deals, go ahead to the store. My store is keepintouchcrafts.stampinup.net, and you can shop there for any of the Stampin' Up! Products that I've used and more. And what we're going to be doing is having some deals going on right now where each week in September they're going to post some new choices for discounted items. They're just random things, and they're like 20% off or so. That's kind of a rough estimate here, but you'll be able to. I was going to show you what some of the deals are right now, and my computer is not hooked up. I just know that I had it there, so it's bugging me. Anyways, regardless, so that is going on right now. So feel free to shop there. Look under current, I think it's under discounted items or something like that. And they're called weekly deals. So look for those. And each week is going to be a new set of items that is for sale and discounted. And those are going to be put up, I believe, every Wednesday. So yesterday we had a switch out. I haven't even looked at them yet, honestly, because I've been just running constantly. But go ahead and look there. I'm going to do the same. You can get some good deals. We also have a promotion called Perfect Pairings, where we have some dies available for some of our stamp sets that didn't have dies to go with them. And there's just going to be in September here, limited chance to get some of those. But if there's just a big variety. I think there's like apple set, and I had things to show you. Oh, and like the birthday piggies, there's that those pigs in the annual catalog. These are for annual catalog stamp sets that don't have dies. They're so cute, these little pigs, and so there is a stamp set with those. And then we have the dies for a limited time for that. And we have the apple harvest dies. And yeah, so Perfect Partners it's called. There are others too. So go ahead on my Stampin' Up! What I have listed here, and you'll be able to see some of those sales and things that we have going on. If you have questions, let me know. I'd be happy to answer that for you. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Have a happy crafting night and day ahead of you, hopefully. And don't forget to